Everybody can hear me just fine. Maybe jumping in. All right. It's 5 o'clock. Can I hear you, Danilo? You're good?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Hey, you guys. Looks like there's 10 of us on board right now with this hangout, and there's a group chat function. I think I'm looking at it from the DJ booth, so I'm not exactly sure what you're seeing on your end, but I know if I go up to the top left with my mouse, it opens up a kind of one of those little things that pop open, and then you can select stuff. There's a chat feature there, and if anybody can get into the chat, please let me know. That way we can get some questions answered. Also, I know that if you show up in your YouTube account, you should be able to pop up off to the right-hand side so I can mute you and unmute you. And then if you're really cool, and you have a camera, we can turn that on as well. But right now, I don't see anybody in the chat. If anybody's in Skype too, and you're trying to tell me that you can't see the chat or something, that's a good place to let me know also. I'm gonna crack that open. Okay, anyway, so welcome to the, what I like to call the 30-day Danilo Lee Legal Intensive Mastermind Group. What we're gonna do here is, well, if I can't get any questions answered or asked, then it's gonna be really difficult to kind of get that ball rolling. But what I wanna do here is I wanna introduce Danilo if you don't know him already. And I want to talk about the reason why this is a good idea, because I can speak from personal experience. There are just certain gaps in my marketing game that I need to fill, and I feel like this is one of those opportunities where I get to fill that gap by getting a lot of over-the-shoulder training by a guy like Danilo, who's an expert in the legal niche. I also want to get into the legal niche because it's an evergreen niche that's going to be around as long as human beings are walking the planet. And I think this is a great opportunity for you to get into something like this too, because it's a sustainable business that once you got it mastered and it's working well, you can leave it running indefinitely. You don't have to worry about, shit going away. You just go find new new buyers to buy your leads. So I look at it from that perspective. I think it's a great opportunity. So what I want to do is break down the who, what, where, when, why, and how of this 30-day legal mastermind. Danilo is going to be the leader. I'm going to pass it over to him right now so he can briefly just explain what he's up to and who he is. So, okay, you got it? Is it working?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
I don't know if the camera actually flipped.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Oh, it did. Okay. Anyhow, like brief introduction about myself. I've been doing pay-per-call since about 2009, when actually there was no call tracking software out there, and my primary focus has been in legal and finance. So one of the things that I decided to do like earlier in this year is actually to get a small group of media buyers to help grow and scale this, because in legal there's such huge demand from buyers, and I know like a lot of guys are a little bit shy or a little bit intimidated with dealing with lawyers and trying to get business out of them. So I brought all the relationships to Paulo, and now Gene and I were talking about last week. There's people that are very hungry about it, and they kind of trying to make this work. They know like enough about pay-per-click, but they don't know much about the niche, right? Mm-hmm. So one of the things that, like with my experience since doing this since 2009 with like big law firms like Jacob Myers, can name like a ton, people just are afraid of, number one, is spending $50 to $100 on a click. Right? When the payout is like in the $200 range, and also it's an expensive game, and if people are afraid of actually losing like $500 to $1,000, and they go, oh wow, like I gotta move on to the next thing. So the mindset of, hey, this is actually a long-term campaign, and yeah, it's expensive. So I was like, hey Gene, what do you think about like a group of people investing in and watch over the shoulder of seeing how the campaigns work, know about like the customer life cycle behind it,
Yeah.
Most people, it's interesting, like they they are injured, but they care more about the motorcycle than the leg. And you got to speak to that. There's people that they are injured today and they're not gonna feel the pain for like 3 days later. And there's people that, you know, like they've been into a car accident and they've been lowballed by the insurance company. And they go, wow, like my MRI was $3,000. I just got a check for $1,000. I'm in the hook for $2,000. You know, so there's a lot of things in legal itself, more on like the customer psychology that I think that we can share, and then look at the optimization angle, you know, and have a group buy where like 10, 20 people, I don't know how many people are committed so far, where everybody puts like $2,000. If it's like 10 people, is what, $20,000 of group buy, you know. So we're gonna do like over a course of a month from A to Z. From buying a domain to actually applying to account, to getting Google AdWords set up, analytics set up, conversion tracking set up, multivariate testing set up, changing IVRs, doing all the jazz. So in the beginning, gonna be more of setting up the campaign, and then probably by second or third week, it's gonna be probably like optimization every other day, where we document everything of what we did and why we did it. And we're gonna do everything through Google Hangouts. Now, I'm sure. Oh, there's somebody that just joined the.
Yeah, I'm giving out the right link. There's a couple of different links that you can share for this thing, and I shared the one that's down in the corner, but people can't see a lot of. So yeah, Josh is here now. He's all logged in. Good to see you, Josh. I'm gonna unmute you, but I don't want to mess up Danilo's flow here. But I think people are starting to come in. I really have no choice. Can't mute him. Are you still there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. All right.
So I don't know if people want to ask questions or if you wanted to say something. Do you have any paper projects?
Yeah, I got. So I know this is like off the cuff, but my vision, my vision for this is a couple of weekly hangouts, at least one. But 2 hangouts, maybe a setup and maybe an optimization strategy, or a strategy hangout, and then like on a Wednesday, more optimization. So if we can get that going, that'd be a good idea. I'm thinking maybe definitely a Skype group so we can stay connected regularly. Yeah. And maybe even a Facebook fan page so we can, or a private group. I don't know. I find those things kind of fall off pretty fast, but really the trick is, the goal here is we want to stay connected as much as we can and kind of work through this campaign and keep it like a tight tight class, you know. It just something that's going to really help people fill the gaps. I think there's a lot of gaps that people have in their campaign strategies. Like the $100 to $200 campaign launches that end up getting paused, and then you move on to the next one. To work through that, I think it's like an intangible asset to your marketing career. It's like you got to break through this part, and this is the biggest opportunity I think for a lot of people, is to get in, share the money. That kind of relieves us of our risk. We know the money's going to traffic, so we can just go, okay, this money is out of our hands now. It's going to traffic. We just got to let go and let Danilo do his thing, you know. But you were talking earlier too about setting up a separate AdWords account, and then this will be our account for this particular workshop. And what we'll do, oh hey, hopefully that's better. What we'll do is have access. We'll give access to guys so they can go in and they can view the campaign. They'll have the ability to see the ads, obviously, and all the keywords that we're running and all the demographics. So you could take this information and go run your own campaign off to the side if you really wanted to, if you felt that compelled. You're going to look at the landing pages. We're going to, but my big thing that I want to push into you guys, especially the newer guys, is that this is a huge opportunity to kind of understand what it takes to start a campaign, work through that month of hell of losing money, but having the confidence and knowing that you're eventually going to get to that destination, which is a positive ROI. And we're doing it in a kind of a safer way. Yeah, you know, we have to throw money at traffic, but the moment you can disconnect from that money, the easier it's going to be for you. And of course, this is a, you know, Danilo's domain. So we have one of the best world-class like legal guys teaching us. And to me, that just blows my mind, you know? So I hope you guys all kind of resonate with that. I know when I got started, it was a kind of a hard road, and I spent a lot of money, and luckily I found a guy that was like Danilo, but taught me pay per call. So I feel like this is like the next level, and I'm really excited about that. I do have a calendar of events. If that's cool, I'll talk to you guys about that. Today, look at that. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. I'll take it down. But anyway, today is the 31st. It's March. We want to kind of kick this off next week with maybe a kickoff meeting like by Friday, which means I know you guys, if you're here, you probably already know that, you know, the goal is to get everybody to kick in 2K for traffic money, and that puts us at about like, if we get 8 guys, that's 16 grand to run for a good solid month. And what'd you say, Danilo, the kind of average spend per day is going to be?
So in the beginning, I started about like $500 for a couple of days. Start to get some traction, and then look at the conversion on a weekly basis, and then we start going like 1,000 to 5,000. I don't think that we might be able to spend more than 1,000, depending on how many people join in.
Okay.
So it's pretty systematic, actually. Funny the thing that you mentioned, that, you know, like the money is your mark, and that's how I like to do campaigns. You know, it's not like, hey, like I'll just keep spending $100 to $500, and then at the end of the month, like rent comes and you go, oh fuck, you know, might need to pause it. So we're gonna do, so since it's Monday through Friday, there's about 22 days in the month, depending on.
So I guess we have a couple of different ways of testing it, right? We could run all the way through till the 5th of March, or May, I'm sorry, which would put us about exactly a month.
Mm-hmm.
Or we could be a little more aggressive with our spend and cut it the prior week, which puts us at, you know, it's 4 weeks, but I looked at like the first week, which is next week, as like a getting started week. So we get everybody's money into the bank account so we can charge up Google with traffic money, and then we get everybody on board, and we figure out what roles and responsibilities will be. We figure out the communication, and then we have an official kickoff on Friday, and then that following Monday we start our launch. Like our launch day would be like that following Monday, which I have like April 10th. April 10th would be the official day we launch a campaign.
Yeah, it's gonna take about like a week of setting up and going through the kinks.
Okay. Yeah.
And then, since Monday through Friday, I don't believe there's a holiday in April, so that's 22 days. So 22 days times $500 a day, it's $11,000. There are some days that are actually very good, like for instance Mondays and Tuesdays.
So jack it up.
We have some money laying around, and actually we noticed that, hey, today we're doing pretty well. Let's try to spend that money.
Yeah.
And try to get some traction on the market share. And then we're gonna share like all the Google AdWords accounts, the Invoke account, try to do like some sort of like stack the money style follow along.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Today we have like 11 raw calls, 3 paid. That was something weird about it, you know, like what is it that we did to optimize it, so on and so forth. And then, you know, at the end of the 30 days, like whatever profit there is, we'll just distribute among the
shareholders, the stakeholders, the guys that are pitching in the money.
Yeah, and then I've actually done like a couple masterminds like this, and you know, like might be some relationships, might be some other JVs within the members inside, you know.
Yeah, well, I put together a list of benefits, and these are just what I feel benefit benefit
Yeah,
me.
I'm not here to sell. So
Yeah. And that's it too. It's like I kind of don't want to feel like I'm trying to pressure anybody. I just feel like it's a good idea. So there is a rev share opportunity here. The money's going into traffic. We're building a campaign. We're hoping, obviously, to get this thing profitable. So that's really good news. Also, if we do get to the second month and everybody is synergistic and we're working together, we're having a good time, there's an opportunity to just reinvest or add more traffic money and just keep scaling this thing, and it becomes an investment for everybody. That's a big win-win, man. That's super awesome. So there's that option too. My big thing is I get to see what I'm doing wrong. So when we get to start this, we get to go through this process with Danilo, and he's going to go ahead and fill those gaps in. So I imagine you get to see what you're doing wrong in your campaigns too. So that's one big, huge thing. We get to work on angles and techniques, and we're going to learn strategies that you could take away that you could use in all of your campaigns when you go off and do your other verticals. Or if you stay in legal, these are things you could use probably for a very long time. Obviously, the data. You can see what you're doing right. That's a good start too. So like, that's always a nice thing when you're like, well, hey, I do it the same way. Well, that's good news, right? So there's a confirmation. And then of course we're gonna, I'm recording everything. So you get all the videos, plus access to all of us. But my biggest thing is the money isn't so much in the offer, it's in the networking. When you get into something like this, it's fun because you get to build a lot of camaraderie. We see each other in Las Vegas at ASW and stuff. We're hanging out at the Mastermind Roundtable in Danilo's suite, and it's a great time. Brazilian barbecue. You know what I'm saying? So huge opportunities, man, for $2,000 in traffic money. So I think with that being said, we were talking about how do we handle like the money, right? And I'm going to pass this over to Danilo because he doesn't want to use PayPal. He doesn't like money getting frozen in PayPal. So we're going to do it like we do a network, like a business would do something. I think it's going to be an ACH wire transfer. And Danilo's going to do it through his business. So he's going to 1099 your ass if we're making any ROI on this thing. Yeah. Anything else to say, buddy?
No, pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Good. Everybody puts $2,000, and then I don't know, like we'll have like 10, 20 people.
Yeah, that should be the plan.
Yeah. There might be, I think you said there might be some people that want to like help doing something, That's
a good question. Yeah, roles and responsibilities. I know there's a couple of guys that want to get their hands dirty. They want to get into the accounts and stuff. And I think everybody should have some kind of responsibility. Personally, I don't want to be the guy that just kind of has to fill in all the gaps for Danilo while he runs, while everybody just kind of stands around and kicks tires. So that's something we need to talk about. So if we got any guys that are, designers or good with WordPress or I'm not sure what you're using for servers, Danilo, but design, anybody that wants to kind of lead something, let me know. We'll come up with some roles and responsibilities. We're all going to be talking about angles and testings and looking for things. We're going to have research and strategy. That's all a give me. But if anybody really wants to kind of get their feet wet, let me know. We'll make sure you get some. I think it's important. It's important to have people to take notes too. People to kind of bookkeep it. Stats and reports, I think, is an important thing also. I don't think a lot of people put enough time into properly like analyzing their data. So that would probably be a good thing as well. It's having people who aren't comfortable doing that stuff get into it so that they can learn it properly. Okay, so with that being said, you guys, I don't know. This is my very first Google Hangout. I happen to host it. I'm in the hot seat here with all the switches and stuff. When you watch this recording again, you'll see what I'm talking about. For some reason, the group chat doesn't work. I don't know why. I can see a lot of stuff, but I'm going to send this out. Hey, Obi just sent a test. Okay, never mind. People just don't talk. Never mind. So I know some of you guys are on here. Josh, yeah. See, fucking A, man. I swear to God. Yeah. Hey, guys. Okay, would you be competing with Danilo when running these offers long term? That's a good question, Josh. Good question.
Technically yes and technically no, because my strategy is a little bit different than what I'm gonna present. Of course, nowadays there's like 8 spots that you're getting in volume from. There's different states. For instance, like although the offers that we have is probably like what 12 or 18 states by now. I haven't counted. I'm actually just doing like 1 or 2, which is California and Illinois. You're competing for. There is like a little bit of competition, right? But there is, like looking at my campaign, like I've actually only take about 20% of the market share. So
there's a lot of room.
Yeah, there's like 80% of all. 80%. What's the other question? Are we just generating leads for all these big law firms that are in multiple states?
Well, that's the idea.
No, I don't understand the question. So are we just generating leads for all these big law firms that are in multiple states? The answer is yes, but I don't know. Can you clarify, Joshua?
So there are people buying leads. Danilo works with these buyers exclusively, right, Danilo? This is you're the one that's,
Okay.
So you're bringing the offers. Yeah.
So I have direct relationships with the attorneys, and the attorneys are actually buying off of everybody that's generating the calls. So 95% of the times is actually going to a law firm itself. There's circumstances that like a call center actually takes a phone call. That is technically not an attorney, but I'll say 95% is like either the receptionist or the attorney that answers the phone calls. And they are either big law firms or they are, like Joe that can only buy 3 calls a day in the state of Wisconsin just because he doesn't have the budget. These are not affiliate offers. Are you going? So the question here, these are not affiliate offers. Are you going after local clients? Yeah. So like throughout this relationship, like I developed relationships with law firms. So like it's not going to a broker. I know them personally and I met them.
That's your business, right? This is kind of your business. And you also brought these offers over to Paulo so we can run them as affiliates.
The history behind this, like I always been the white hat, like evergreen mentality, There's, in law, always gonna be lawsuits. Unfortunately, United States, that's the way it is. In addiction, as long as there's alcohol and drugs, people drink when they're happy or when they're sad. So like I was kind of tired of going through affiliate networks because there's always somebody sending fraud and I'm doing my good job over here, and because the call center doesn't know that I'm the one that actually sending good stuff and I've been being mixed with the fraudsters, I end up shutting down. So, and also because of like the cost of generating this traffic, the networks out there's no way that I can generate an auto accident for $150 when my clicks are 75. I gotta convert at 50% all the time in order to make a profit. So the guys that are buying our phone calls, they are in the mentality that 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 4 are actually gonna become cases. So just to give everybody like some sort of like overview on how it works on the back end is that most of the people in the United States, I'll say like probably 70% of the nation carries just the minimum auto insurance policy just to be legal. So that's $15,000. So any car accident probably gonna set up for $15,000. So out of the $15,000, the lawyer is gonna take a third of it, which is $5,000. And because the lawyers are paying anywhere from like $200 to $400 a call, depending on the type of injury or the geography or the competition. They're hoping that they close 1 out of 4. So call their CPA $1,000, right, to get the case signed and actually winning. So they're making roughly $2,000 and doing volume. Once a while, they're gonna hit like a big case where it's is that Uber, where they're gonna go against Uber's commercial insurance policy, which it might be like 3 or 5 mil, or go against like a trucking company, a school bus, FedEx, U-Haul, whatever it might be. So that's when you see, people, all these lawyer websites, and then they got like $5 million, $20 million verdicts, and that's how it usually happens. Based on a question here, based on your experience, what is ROI apart from learning a lot? So usually you do. So for instance, let's say I keep a log. I don't know, I can share my screen, but I'll read off of here, like for instance, like today I did 137% ROI, but the previous 2 days I actually lost 40.36%. And, and then there's been days that I actually did 240%. So with the ups and downs for this month, I actually made 41.26% ROI. So usually in white hat, you're doing 40 to 60, but it's a more consistent 40 to 60 than the guys doing black hat. Like I have a lot of friends actually in the industry that they make like 300, 400% ROI. They're balling for days, and then, and their accounts go down, whatever happens. And then they're like down to zero. I'm actually more in the long-term play, I'd rather eat a little bit for the rest of my life than like prime.
That's such a good analogy.
Yeah. Or like eat a steak today and have to eat peanut butter jelly for the next 3 months.
It's a good way to look at it, man. Because I'd rather take less money every day than a whole bunch of money for a week and then starve for a month. So I totally feel you. It's good. Okay. Well, let's see. We got any more questions? Let's see. Based on your experience, okay, I am in. Oh, thanks, Sucker. I have a website, dev team, WordPress. This guy's got everything. Okay. Well, that'll be fun. It's good to have you on board, buddy. Okay, I think what we're going to do is I have you guys already on my email list. I will go ahead and hammer out the details about getting started, next steps, and then bank wires, so we can all get our money into the account, and then we can start this whole thing, and then have like a final tally of who's all in. And if you want, you guys reach out to me on Skype. I'll walk you through everything. If you have any questions, obviously, hit me up in an email, and then we'll go from there. Got anything else, buddy? And
there's another question here.
Yeah.
From Joshua. If you don't mind me asking, what cuts are you taking on this calls? Just trying to think long term if there's money with the.
He's asking you personally.
Wait, I'm trying to understand the question. Just trying to think long term if there's money with the offers if you're hitting 40-50% with your own payout. Oh, I see. You're saying like what's the network's cut? Usually the network cut gets about like 15 to 20%. So you add, like that 20% markup that, that we do. But mostly, like on the network side, I don't know much about the network side technically, besides partnering up with Anthony and Kevin and Ali and Josh. But like they're paying for the call tracking. They're doing, one of the things that I like personally about the network is that I don't need to go chase a lawyer that owes me $12,000. You know that the network gonna pay you no matter what. Semi-monthly net 7. Okay, that's not bad then. Okay. After a month, what's going to happen? Great question. After a month, I was planning to just do the distribution. So I have a feeling that like mini groups might be forming that might want to continue. Might be people that You know, it's just cool for watching what happened, and they might move on. I don't know. But my plan is actually to support for the long term.
Would you be interested? Would you be open to keeping the campaign going with stakeholders reinvesting, or adding more money so we can just keep scaling it? Because I like having a couple extra $100 coming in off the side on autopilot every day. So if we get that there, I'd like to keep that going.
Yeah, I mean, even redistributing like the money among everybody, even if you make like $300 a day.
Yeah.
That's like what, like $9 grand? $9 grand, yeah.
A month? Yeah, 3 times 30.
Making like 6 digits. I don't even know if that's the case. 300 by 365, whatever the number is.
Well,
yeah,
we can't.
109,500. Yeah, you're making
10K a month or 10K a year. Autopilot. Yeah. Maybe between 8 and 9 guys.
Here in California, you got to pay 30%, 40% taxes, but
we gotta get the fuck out of California.
And I'm actually in Santa Monica, prime real estate.
I know.
We pay even local taxes here.
Jeez. Parking's terrible over there. You gotta have a permit to like park in your garage practically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what do we got? Minimum budget. Okay, so Joshua's got a question about minimum budget.
So I'm pretty systematic. When I test something, I test about like $5,000, earmark them, see if you get any traction. Hopefully by month 1, you're doing minus 50% ROI, seeing like a weekly projection, of going up. But I mean, that's kind of like a vague question, because minimum budget, you can buy 1 click a day if you want for $50 and convert 100% if you can, But my mentality is, whenever I do a campaign, I earmark $5 grand, run for a month. Like by month 2, you might be optimizing a little bit, cutting things that work and cutting things that don't work, and scaling things that work. And then, by month 3, you're actually making a little bit of profit so that you can amortize the loss on month 1 and 2. That you start scaling out around month 4. And that's when, when you can sustain and have the patience and the financial means to hit month 3 at a breaking even. That's when, it's a matter of just spending as much money as fast as you can.
I don't know, I can speak for myself. I think what you just said right there is like huge knowledge bombs to me in terms of the way you think and your structure and the way you're systematizing things. That's why I'm here. Just wanted to say that.
Yeah, I was telling you that there's a lot of people that I talk to, that they go, yeah, I'm new to pay-per-call and I have $500. I'm like, dude, do me a favor.
Go somewhere else.
Something nice, because you're gonna burn the $500 and you're gonna be upset about it, and you don't have the next 500 to try to make it up. So, and then one of the guys that I did some sort of like private training, I was looking at his legacy campaigns, and the guy was almost there.
Oh, wow.
And the guy is like, oh, I have kids to feed, I have the mortgage to pay, he didn't have the
mentality.
He was in the mentality that, it's like the unprofessional gambler.
Scarcity.
Blackjack. Sitting on the $25 table only brings $100. He gonna lose 4 cards. Is it? Yeah, he gonna lose 4 cards. There is nothing to do, versus compared to I'm not a professional gambler, by the way. Compared to the guy that has like $5,000 bankroll, and he knows that like if they go through like 3 decks, there's an opportunity that face card is gonna be showing up, then all he's gonna do is double down. I don't know if that analogy makes sense, but
I get it.
Is there anything that we should do beforehand to prepare for the mastermind? Is there?
I think the best, the thing we got to do is we got to get the traffic money in. So we, by Wednesday next week, I think that's probably it. So I don't know if you know, best thing to do is we're gonna have to go to our banks, respected banks, and then request a $2,000 bank wire to yours so we can get started. But I think that's it. I don't really think there's like any preliminary groundwork we need to do to get started. Right now, it's like who's in. Let's find out who's really in and fully committed, and then we start then we really start it. We get real serious. So I think that's probably all I will send call to action time. I will send an email right after this with bank wire information for Danilo's bank. Again, you're going to get 1099 if we make an ROI. This is how we get started. The deadline is to get it in. Sorry, I keep forgetting about this camera thing. The deadline is to get it in on Wednesday next week so we can have our kickoff meeting on that Friday, that following Friday, which is 10th, I think.
I think it is Wednesday the 5th, Friday is the 7th.
7th, yeah. So funding is 4/5/17. And then 4/7 is the kickoff meeting on Friday. And then we'll get going from there. Work the details out. Hopefully that sounds good to guys. I'm not putting too much of a time limit on you. Are there any more questions? Anybody else? Anybody else? I know there's like 9 guys watching this. You can't ask questions unless you're logged in, it turns out. So sorry about that. So this is being recorded, and I will send it out for the guys who couldn't make it. And I think that's it. Anything else, buddy?
Have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend. It's Friday. Shit. Everybody go home and have fun. All right, guys. We'll see ya in on Skype, and we'll talk there. Okay. Signing off. Is that good? All right. Talk to you later, Danilo.
Hey, talk to you later.
Bye, guys.